Welcome to the session, guys. Okay, in our previous session, okay, 1 second. In our previous session, we did this one virtual machine we have installed that is completed. This one is our virtual machine RACS1. In that machine, we have installed our operating system. Where is our software? Operating system software under storage. Okay, that is already there. Linux OEL7 we have installed. Okay, 7.8 we have installed. Now we are going to install the cluster software. If you want to do this cluster software installation, we need to do the prerequisites. Prerequisites to install your cluster software. Okay, that we are going to do it now. Once this is done, prerequisites is done, we can unzip the cluster software and then we can install the cluster software. If we install the cluster, we'll get ASM instance plus ASM storage, both we will get it, and cluster software. Okay, OHS, CRS will be started. CRS, cluster ready daemon, HAS services, all the cluster daemons will start it up once we done this thing. Today we are going to see this part, prerequisites for cluster installation and cluster installation part. Let me connect to this server. That server ID 101. Yes. These are all old servers. We have not connected these things. These are all what I can say old one. Whatever I mentioned here, set color, green color. This is our present database. RACS1 is our node 1 we are going to preparing. Okay. Let me share my this thing. Yesterday we done these things. Okay. Let me recap those things. We have set the etc host in our this server. Let me check quickly. Right. These two are our public IPs. Whatever we are using, RACS1 node 1. For this is the public IP. Node 2 we are yet to build. We have not built it. We will do the clone of RACS1. There we can use, this is our public ID for node 2. Similarly, this is private ID for our RACS1. This one for node 2. Virtual IP for node 1. This is virtual IP or VIP for our node 2. Node 2 yet to be built. At that time we can give this. And these three are the common scan IPs. Even though you are going for 10 node rack, these three scan IPs are fixed. There is no like, it is not instance specific. It is a cluster specific. Okay. That's it. Now, RPMs, what? Yeah, we did the users creation also. We have created Oracle user and grid user. Why we need this Oracle user? If you want to install the RDBMS, Oracle database software, we can connect to this user and we can install. And cluster software, we can use grid user. Under grid user, we are going to install the grid software. And note down one point here. Don't install any database or cluster under root user. If hash symbol is showing no, don't install anything. It is maintained by the Unix team, separate team. As a DBA, we need to install our database and grid software separately. If you want to use Oracle user for both database and grid, yes, you can do that. Different mount points you need to take. But better understanding and better purpose, better management way, you can use two users. For grid is separate user and Oracle is separate user. So we already created, and also we have created directory structure for our 12C database where we are going to install our database. So this is a directory where we are going to unzip our database software. That is one thing. Under U02 mount point, okay, 12 to grid. This is our grid mount point. This is our grid home where I'm going to unzip my grid software. We are yet to done that. Okay. These directories also we have created. Users we have created. Okay. And groups also we have assigned. Everything is done. Today's session we can see DNS setup. We need to do. And also if you want to check the ping one, no, we don't have a node 2. Otherwise I want to show you the ping command also. That we can see it later. Now we can configure the DNS. etc is done. Passwords also we need to reset the password for Oracle. Okay, if you want to reset the password for Oracle, pass WD Oracle, enter the new password, enter the password and re-enter it. Okay, I have successfully reset the Oracle user password. We created the users, but we did not reset the password. For grid user also, we can reset the password. In real time, this user password resetted and this users maintained by the Unix team, not the DBA team. Okay. I have resetted the grid and Oracle user passwords. So from root user, we need to reset the OS user passwords. That is also done. So these softwares, I don't think so it is not required now, but yeah, as part of your M update and other things, it will do. And soft pass, this also as part of our database prerequisite, RPM, this package, pre-install package. This package already updated all these values. Clear. Now, the step number, which step we are going to do it? These are also dependencies. We need to do from here. DNS setup. Okay. In real time, we are not going to touch DNS servers. We don't know where they have set up, who is going to take care. Generally, it is taken care by the network admins, separate team. But demo purpose, we are going to do it in our lab. Otherwise, we will not touch it. So to set up the DNS, we need to configure the reverse zone, forward zone. And then we need to update the resolve.config file. And also we need to create one more file that is name.something. Name server. Okay, name server we need to configure. This name.config one. Okay. For DNS setup, we need to install one RPM package. This we already installed. Okay, if you want to check, you can check it here directly. If you can click over there, what it is going to say, nothing to do. It is already installed. Okay, this bind package or RPM for DNS related. Now I'm going to create name server configuration, then create forward zone, then reverse zone. Let me create these things. Name.config file, whether we have or not. Let me take these files to our notepad. Okay. Yeah, till now. Let me paste into our this thing here in our notepad. Here we can go ahead and see it. Check this file is there or not in the server. Let me clear the, if I clear the screen, this will not show you clearly. Okay. ls-ltr. This file is there and root is the user. Guys, note down this. As and when you have modified, the privilege named one is going to change. We need to make this group also. Otherwise, our system will not work properly. Okay. Now take a backup of the name.config. So we are going to modify the existing name.config. So to edit any one of the file in Unix level, we can use vi command. So what we need to do here, we need to set up the IP address listener port 53 for DNS setup. Here, what is our public IP? That IP range we need to give. Okay, I'll show you the sample one. I have one more node which is running here. Let me share this thing, whether I can able to read it or not. Otherwise, I need to connect it to root user. This is other machine. Okay. So this is our named file. There I have given 198, 192.68.120.21, right? That is our public IP. If you want to see, 21 is my public IP. So I need to give the public IP here. Public IP of our this node. Cat etc host. What is our public IP? This one. We need to give this IP into this name.config file. Let me give that one here. Only 2 or 3 changes, nothing much. Only this one we need to give. Insert, paste the IP, semicolon. Let me cross check it again. Yeah, IP address, public IP we need to mention. I have mentioned the public IP. And then what else I did? This one, okay. Here we need to modify, allow all the IPs with a range of 192.168.168.0.0.0. Don't worry, guys. If you want to do it, you can directly copy paste the things. No worries. Why? Because it's not our job. But what it is exactly it is going to do it, the system is going to allow the IP number which is starting with 192.168.0 to remaining. If 24 you are going to give up to 255 ports, like port 192.168.0.1, 0.234 up to 255. It will allow all the IPs in the network level. Okay, that's where we are going to use that option. Otherwise, we are not going to touch anything. 0.21 I mentioned. Here I have given 0.0 by 24. Here we can give, instead of 0, you can give 56 volts. The range which we are going to allow it from 56 to all the numbers it is going to allow. Okay, that is only one thing, local host IP range. Here my local host IP range is 192.168.0 dot so on so on. Okay, that is the where these two only I need to modify over there, these two parameters. And then in the last, I'm going to add zones, reverse zone and forward zones. Even in the file, I have given these things. Reverse zone, this one, another one also there. Let me check in the last. Include is there. On top of this include, let me add the lines. Zone in type hint name. I'll give you this file, guys, so you can take it from under in type int. From there to here, you can copy it. That's it, nothing much. Copy paste it. It is a standard format. Whatever the your IP, this one we are not going to change anything. Your localdomain.com, it is going to take it that. And IP range, you can give here 56. And here also you can give 56. That's it. It is a reverse and forward zones. It will helpful. This is for forward zone and this is for reverse zone. We need to configure these two separately, these two files. Okay, and then we haven't changed anything. That's all. For name server, we are going to configure the name server. 198, this one, and that's it, nothing much. So I have configured the name server. Once the name server is configured, next what we need to do, create a forward zone. So this named.localhost, which we have updated just now, inside of this name config, see, inside of the name, local domain we have given, right? This one we need to create separate file it here. Okay, separate file. Let me, this will be there. Let me copy to localhost file to this one. And we need to configure that. Let me use the file. What are all the things it is there? Exactly, you need to configure. Only IPs we are going to change it, nothing much. Edit that. See here, it is going to default format, but I'm not going to take this one. I'm going to delete all the rows. Now I'm going to paste as it is this file. Okay, but if it is better, you can copy this file into your local notepad and modify according to your IPs. Our public IP is 56.101, 101. Another public IP is 102. Range is 56. And what is our private IP? These details we will get it from our etc host file. See, if we have etc file here, see what is our public IP? This one. Private IP is this. This one private IP 40. You can give the 40. This one 40, 41. So what is the host names? We need to give the host names also. If you want to give, you can give local domain, other things you can remove it. Only RACS1 you can give. Next one is RACS2. This one private, RACS1 private. Okay. RACS1 private, RACS2 private IP. Then VIP. RACS1 VIP, RACS2 VIP. RACS scan. RACS-scan local domain, RACS-scan local domain. That is fine. And IP we need to change it, right? What is the VIP? 103. 104. and our these things 105, 106, 107, 105, 106, 107. That's it. All the IPs which are going to provide. Generally, in real time, these IPs, everything is maintained by our DNS team. They are going to add it all these IPs. That is not our DBA job to add all these things. This is not our job. But our demo purpose, we are going to, here it is. Here also we need to look into it completely. RACS1.localdomain.com. Root 1, that is fine. This is fine. This is fine. RACS1.localdomain. What is our RACS1.localdomain.com is not required. That is fine. If you can put it, that is fine. Let it be. Why? Because in our node, we have given complete.com, but here we are not going to mention the .com. It is not required. Okay. Up to local domain is fine. Here also we need to modify our node one, RACS1.local domain. That's it. RACS1 local domain. If you want, you can copy paste it. Spelling mistakes or other things, it won't take it. RACS1 local domain. RACS1 local domain. RACS1. RACS2. RACS1 private web. 168.40. 1.40, 1.41. Right. This file as it is, you can copy it. As it is, paste it. Then escape, shift colon, save. That is done. Next one, we need to create the reverse. This is the forward zone. Forward zone means whatever the request it is getting, if anyone is connected to this IP, it is directly redirected to in the backend, this IPs. Okay. And reverse zone, we are going to give first IP number in reverse order that will connect to your host names. Yeah, this is correct only. Let me check whether here we have this. No, right? File is, I know that what is the name, 0 will be there. 0 for that. This is the file for reverse zone. So edit that file, this file, and change the values according to that. This one, right? 11dd, 11 legs, and insert. Let me modify this file. RACS1.localdomain. RACS1.localdomain is my host name. Here also RACS1.localdomain. RACS1.localdomain.com is not required. Domain is fine. Localdomain.com, that's okay. RACS1, RACS2, RACScan IPs. IPs we need to modify. This is 56.101. This is 56.102. Our public IP to this one, second node one. Okay, scan IPs are different, right? 56.105, 106, 56, 56.10. These are our scan IPs. RACS-scan. Here 101 public IP ending with that. 102 for public IP 2. 105 for our scan IP 1. 106 for scan IP 2. 107 for scan IP 2. 3. Okay. RACS lab is not the one. RACS1.lab. RACS2.scan.local domain. Local domain. And that's it. Here also you can make it local domain. That's it. We're not going to use .com. Okay. Copy everything. Paste it. 1012356. That is fine. If you want, you can cross check it your scan IPs. 105, 106, 107. RACS-scan.local domain. RACS1.local domain for 101, 102. Our 101 and 102 is belonging to public IPs. RACS1 local domain, DOMAIN. Perfect. RACS1.RACS2.local domain. RACS-scan.local domain. RACS-scan.local domain. 10567 is for our scan. Perfect. We are not going to mention our virtual IPs or private IPs here. Okay. For reverse zone, we are going to mention only public IP, scan IPs. That's it. These are all the important things. Why? Because the scan is going to connect with your public IP as and when any client is name, like in our TNS names, we are going to mention our scan. Any user want to connect to our databases. Databases are we are going to configure on these public IPs. So end of the day, user needs to connect to public IP. So users directly connected to the scan. The scan is internally communicated with your public IP. That's where it is going to redirect. There is no communication for private IP and all for the client connections. Okay, that's where we need to mention this only. Okay, let me save this file. Come on. That's it for DNS. We need to change the groups for this file and the one which we have created. The file name should be, a group name should be here. It is the root is there. No, it should not be root. It is a named. Otherwise, your this thing DNS will not work. For that, we need to change the group. Now, if you want, you can check it. Okay. Earlier, it is the group is the group. Now it is a named is the group. Why? Because it's a named service. So named service under named group only. It should not be root. Otherwise, you will get an error. You will not able to communicate. Your scan will not communicate it with the other IPs. Load balance failover will not happen. Okay, that's where we need to check. And check this file. LSFNLDZ. What is our named? Yeah, this is perfectly fine. It is there root only, but it should not. It should be a named. It is a correct format. Okay, restore con note. It changes name.config. Do the checks. So if you want to use this name.config file properly, we need to start our name.services. If we are not going to start the services, NS lookup will not work. Okay, that's where we need to start the name.service. Check the status. It is disabled. It is not started. Load it, but inactive. It is not active. We need to start it. Okay, start, start. Now check the status. Now our service is active. Name.services is running properly. Cat TNS, what I can say, cat etc host. We don't have node 2, right? Just ns lookup for scan. It should redirect to your IPs, 3 IPs and all. Server cannot find this domain name. You can give local domain full name. It is not going to redirect as of now, but it's okay. We can see it later. NS lookup. Why? Because node 2 we had to configure and other things also we need to do it. Let it be. Later on we can bounce one more time and then we can check it. It will work. Server cannot find these things. That's okay. No problem. Why? Because we have not configured the resolve.config yet. I think that is the issue. Let me configure the resolve.config. Vi. Here we need to configure name.server properly. Here the name server is differently it is showing. Okay. We need to configure this. That's where it is not going to redirect properly. See here, I want to take a reference of this name dot how we are going to configure for other node. Let me take this and place it here. I have already there, no? You can use 101. This one, if you want, we can keep it. Also, you can use 102 for another node. Okay, 102 for another node. Then make update this resolve.config into our this thing. Okay, here insert R, how many nodes we are having? Okay, let me delete it everything. Escape. 3, 7, 8 lines. 8 lines at a time I have deleted. Now I have added these things in my resolve.config. Okay, save it. Now let me stop, then start. Okay, let me check the NLS lookup. server, it is going to look it, but properly it is not going to take it. Let me check. Still, it is going to redirecting to this server, but it is unable to figure out the proper load balancing kind of thing. What I can do is resolve.config name.server 56101. Perfect. That is only no problem. Escape. Let me delete it. Resolve.config file. Here, these are all there. Let me use this file. Instead of this RACS1 local domain, let me give this one. Escape 4dd, escape insert, paste it, stop, start. Server is going to take it default one. Why? Because that etc resolve.config. It is not going to take this one. IP is perfectly okay, no problem. So if you are going to configure this thing, sometime it may take some of the parameters, RPMs and other things. Let us configure these things. Later on, we are going to modify few of the parameters. I'll show you those also. At that time, it will work out, no problem. Without any issues. Timeout is fine. Set local domain, that is also fine. It should work. Okay. systemctl stop, start, start. Now it is going to address it, but it is not going to redirect. That's okay, no problem. As of now, we have make it this thing. If we can stop the interfaces and restart it, sometimes it may work out. If config, we need to stop and start the interfaces. 140, why it is to 140? Yeah, private one, right? Correct. Okay, that is fine. 105, it took internet one. It should not take this 105 for internet. It should not. We given this IP for our scan, but it is taking for this thing. It should not take. I need to change that IP now. That's where whenever we are going to configure any IP, right, range, the IP range is very important. Root. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart these services. But I want to make sure this one is taking different IP. 105. That should not take that IP. Okay, I want to make a different IP. 192.168. Okay, 56. 110. 255.255.250. That should not work on 105. Okay. Done. Let me restart our IPs also. Yeah. Now, if config third node, whatever it is going to start it, that should not be 105. 105 we already given for our scan. Now I have make it 105. 10110. This is our private IP. And this is our public IP. This is fine. Control on systemctl restart cronny, that is okay. Systemctl stop firewall services. Disable firewall and systemctl restart named. Let me check that restart named services. I should have somewhere the command. Instead of this, I should have something. Let me check that quickly. Status start named at service. Or somewhere restart or something it should have. Yeah, system detail restart named. This is also same command, but yeah, that is also same. Let me restart the services once. SYSTEM. What is this? Restart. System detail restart named. It is a host. Let's look up. That it is a resolved config. It is changed. Every time when you have restarted your services, the named server is going to change it. We need to log that file. Otherwise, that will do like that only. 192, or else I can give RACS 1.local domain. Another one is not required. Only we need to modify timeouts. If you are going to put it, that is okay. No, not required. Restart named. Cat resolve.config. That's okay. Once we done the remaining steps and then we can see it. Okay, let it be. This should ping it properly. NS lookup when you are going to do it, that NSF lookup, it is going to resolve your names. Okay, if it is not means something in a domain level. Okay, host names and other things. Once we are done with the node 1, after that node 2, once we are configured, later on we can see it. It is not a big deal. We can do it. Okay, half an hour or 20 minutes task. Stop the firewalls. Yeah, we already did this firewall stop and disabled. This NTP also we have stopped. If you want to see it, if it is shows 200, that NTP is going to, these are all the optional things. NTP is stopped properly. That is okay. And make setup also, it is okay. 200 means okay. NTP was we are good. Directory structures done. This is optional. We need to create a shared disk for virtual ASM disk. This we can create it. Okay, almost all the optional steps we have completed. This part is done. As and when you did the NS lookup, we need to get some kind of this kind of one name server. Once we have mentioned it, NS lookup, once you are done with that, it will show you different way. All the IPs it should resolve the names. Okay. 5670. In this way also we can do it. That is also possible. Both the nodes we can add it. Why it is not going to take it? Why? Because we have changed the IP, right? This one 10110 internet IP. That's where it is. If we are going to bounce it, that will work out. Okay. Meanwhile, etc resolve.config. I'm going to make update of one more thing. This will resolved my things after reboot of my server 101, 102. That's it. Resolve.config. And then I'm going to, what I can do, I'll lock it. Okay, every time if you are going to lock it, no, that will not change it. I think plus symbol we need to use for lock. Paste, enter. I have locked the resolve.config. If I can restart my machine, init 6. Okay, init 6. After that, it should not change. Cat etc resolve.config will not change after every reboot. Okay, to lock that, we need to do this. Okay, let it restart. Okay, after we restarted, I can able to see it cat resolve.config. It is not changed. Okay, but if you are not going to lock that one, obviously it will go ahead and then change it. SYSTM system restart named server ns lookup. If it is works or not, let me check. If it is works, that's fine. Otherwise, we can check later also. That's okay. We can check this later on. Okay. There could be something where it is going to block it. We will identify and then we can modify those things. Very few parameters. That is fine. Then named service restarted. IP tables sometimes, no, if you want to use it, you can stop all those things. This is something where we are going to do it in network setup. I don't want all the ports. It is going to accept port number 22, port number 53, the TCP. All of them, it is going to enable it. That's it, nothing much. IP table rules. Allow the DNS with the port range 22, 53, and 53. Okay. RACS1 VIP. And it will work now. Perfect. Oh, after I have enabled this IP tables, NS lookup is working. But scan, it is not going to fail it, but let me check. Internal, this thing is perfect. For scan also, NS lookup is working because of, see, IP tables, it is going to allow the port number 22 and 53. Earlier, it is not allowed to look for this thing. On private IP, okay, let me check with our private IP. It means what is mean by this is it is going to see your scan name. Okay, RACS-scan name. If you are going to provide this name into your TNS names file, that will resolve your these things, configurations, node configuration things. Okay, let me check localdomain.com. If I can give, yes, our scan name in your TNS names, you need to give this name. Then it is going to resolve the names. So if I can ping ns lookup, it is not what I need to do. I need to give the .com extension. That's it. It is looking for the fully qualified domain name. Okay, this is your host name. This is your domain name. If you are giving .com, that is fully qualified domain name, means host name .domain name. .com is expected. That's it. On node 1, this is only right public IP. From node 2, you can do one thing. 1 or 2, it will come. Okay. NS lookup also perfectly fine. This is what we are expecting. But real time, we are not going to do these things. Okay. Real time, that job is done by the DNS team. Where we have, here it is. So this should work properly. If it is redirecting to 106, 105, 107, these are all scan IPs. According to that, our load is distributed to throughout the cluster. Otherwise, it won't work. The load balancer will not work. Okay, guys, that is perfectly fine. Now, yeah, this is the time for do the clone. So NS lookup is completed means almost we are done with our prerequisites. Only 1 or 2 prerequisites is there that we can do it after that. Okay, you can stop your machine 1. Okay, stop the machine with init 0. I'm going to stop my node 1. I have stopped it. Okay, now we can do the clone. Second node we need to prepare, right? What are all the steps till now we did? All the steps we need to do on all the cluster nodes. But if you are installing your node on cluster on virtual machines, it's very easy to do. One time you are going to do it, remaining you can make it a clone. That is quicker method. Okay, let me do node 1 clone. Click on right click, select your machine, right click, click on clone. Here you can give RACs node, RACs2. This is my node 2 machine. And where I want to copy. I have where I have a storage that I'll choose it. In my E drive, I have a storage. There I can use testdb. Not the testdb. Where I have FebRAC. Under this, I have RACS1 machine. Now, whatever I'm going to create, RACS2 machine, that is also created over only. Then include only NAT network adapter MAC addresses. Keep it as it is, no issues. Okay, keep it as it is. Click on next. Full clone. It is going to do it this machine as it is another machine with same memory, same network parameters, everything. As per your system speed, it will be quicker. If your system is slow, the clone will take around 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But it is a quick, like 1 minute job, less than 1 minute. Yeah, our clone is completed. Now what I want to do is I want to see the network. Okay, network level. MAC address you can copy. This MAC address. Just for what I can say. Let me do these things. All these things is done. Let me note it down. Here. Stop the node 1 using init 0. Do the node 1 clone to node 2. Okay, that activity we are going to do it. So this is for adapter 1. Our public IP MAC address is this. And private IP MAC address is this. This is public, PUBLIC. This is private IP MAC address. We are doing clone, right? Whether it is going to do the clone of your MAC address also, that is IPs will not work properly. That's where we need to take this. This is our internet one. Internet one. Okay, let it be as it is, close it. Let me check on RACS node 1. What are all the MAC addresses? If it is a different, I no need to keep all those things. Okay. So it is different one only. That MAC address is different. And FBBB. Third one is F1E1. Perfect. So I don't need to use these MAC IDs. Okay. These are all not required. These IPs are not required, but node 2 MAC addresses. Leave it. Now what I need to do, I need to start only node 2. Okay. And then we need to do these things. What I can say, host name we need to change. Okay. Those things we need to do it. Let me start only node 2. Don't start node 1 now. Start only node 2. Start host clone. Start node 2 only. We need to change the IP address. Not IP address, host names, etc. Okay, all those things we need to change it. Why? Because we cloned the host 1 gada, then we need to change it, that one. RACS1 is the first machine which we cloned it. So we need to make it RACS2 is our host name. Open terminal. See here, this is RACS1, but we cloned to RACS2 machine, right? We need to change that one. How to change? nmcli command. Come on, nmcli host name. Okay, 1 second. We have different ways we have to change it. nmcli host name, copy, paste, nmcli host name. Okay, this is the command. It will query the host name. This is existing host name. And then I need to give this one. Done. So I have changed existing RACS1.local domain host to RACS2.local domain. Now you can check. Our host name is RACS2. If you can restart this machine, it will work out properly. Yeah, under etc host, we don't need to modify. Why? Because we already added, right? In node 1 only we added. And then we need to check these IPs. If config. What are all the interfaces which are running? 1110. This is a node 1 IP, which we are going to give. 40 for node 1 IP, private IP. 101 for private public IP of node 1. We need to change these things, right? Let me change those things. Click on this, wide settings, go to IP4, change this IP, 101 to 10, then 000 gateway. That's it, apply. Stop, start. I think 101 we need to keep, 102, not the 2. What the? No, right? 102 only, right? Cancel it. 102 is correct only. 101 for our node 1 public IP, 102 for node 2 public IP. Perfect. Then here 41 is our private IP for node 2. Okay. Apply. Stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Same for node 3. This also 101 we are using. 111 we can use for node 2. Once you updated, you have to stop it multiple times. Okay. Then perfect. Here it is showing if config 101 40, right? We have changed to 102 IP, public IP for node 2, private IP for node 2. Those only we have given here, right? You can see it here. 101 public IP of your node 1. 102 is node 2 public IP. 40 is RACS node 1 private IP. 41 for node 2 private IP. So we have updated properly. If config. Let me show you that. Now it is perfectly updated, right? 102, 41. And host name also we have updated. We can do one thing. We can stop this node. Nothing much. We don't do anything on it. Okay. Nothing much. These things we done it, right? Then we can create ASM disks. This part is done. Okay. Let me copy these things. We can create the ASM disk groups now. After this, follow all these steps. Create the ASM disks for OCR, data, and archive. We need to create 3 disk groups, ASM disk groups. For these, we are going to create it with OCR, data, archive. 3 disk groups. Each disk group we required 1 disk, virtual disk. Virtual disk. With OCR we can use for around 5 gig is fine. 5 gig is fine, not required, not more than that. Virtual disk with 20 gig we can create. And for archive, all your archive log files, redo log files, if you want to store, you can store with 15 gig or 20 gig, we can give another 20 gig. So 3 virtual disks we can create with the size of 5 GB, 20 GB, 20 GB. So 3 disks we need to create. Virtual disks. In our ASM session, we saw this clearly, but again, I'm going to show you. You can create your virtual disk when the machine is up and running, but after offline also you can do it. As of now, under storage, we have only one group, RACS1 VDI, but we need to create 3 groups and then we need to assign. Let me create a virtual disks for ASM. Okay, here you can create virtual media manager. We are having a lot of disks. If you want, we can use any one of the disks, already existing ones and other things. Okay, let me create it newly. Create it. Virtual disk image I'm going to create. Pre-allocation full size. And it is going to create for my. Here I'm going to give OCR2. OCR2 for second node, whatever I'm going to give it. How much size I want to give? 5 GB for OCR files. We can give 10 GB. That is okay. Okay. Even 2 GB also fine. We are not going to use much. Okay. 10 GB I'm giving for OCR. Finish it. OCR2 created. Yeah, it is going to create it. Once it is done, that group will commit here. Here it is. We need to make shareable. Okay, once that is done, shareable is also completed. Now I'm going to create another 2 disks. One more disk for data 2. I'll give data 2 disk with 20 GB size. Let it create 20 GB, and then I'll go ahead and then create one archive2 group for archive file storage. Let it create. Okay, data 2 is created. We need to make shareable. Shareable, apply. And our OCR2 is normal only, it is not shared. Make it shareable, apply. It should shareable, otherwise no, we will get it issues. It is shareable. OCR2 also shareable. That we need to check it, guys. Otherwise, there is no use to create a disk groups. Create third one. Pre-allocation. This is for archive. ARCH underscore 2. 20 gig or 10 gig or 15 gig is fine. We are not getting more archives, but let it be 20 gig. Why? Because I'm going to give these things bit high size. If I'll go for upgrade, that's okay. We can create and assign, no issues. Okay, another one I'm going to create archive, third group. Once that is done, we can share it. After we did it, we need to add those 3 groups to RACS1 machine, RACS2 machine. Where is archives2? Here it is. We need to make shareable. Okay, let me close it here. Make it shareable and apply. Once that is done, check this is shareable and OCR2 is shareable, archive2 is shareable. Perfect. Now we have created the 3 disks. See here, archives2, data2, OCR2. This disk we need to assign it to our machine 2, machine 1, or sorry. This one we need to assign this to machine 2. This also we need to assign it to machine 1, machine 2. So all 3 disks we need to assign it here and here. Then only we can make it a shared storage, right? RAC will work in that way. If you are using 3 node RAC, all 3 these 3 groups we need to add to all the 3 machines. If you are using 10 node, 3 groups only we are going to create. These 3 disks you need to assign to 10 nodes. That is where. Okay, let me add those disk groups. Storage. Here under SATA, we need to add it. Click on this button. Select the where? These 3 not attached. So select archive1. Choose. It is going to add it here. Under RACS1, we will get archive2. Now data2 I need to add it. Choose data2 added. Next OCR2 I need to add it. See, I have added 3 disks. These are all virtual disks. These 3 we need to make it partitions. Otherwise, we cannot create ASM disks. These 3. Click on OK. Done. In Node 2 also we need to add the same 3 disks we need to add. Node 2. OCR2 I need to add. Archive2 or data 2 I need to add. Archive2 I need to add. Done. OCR2, data 2, archive. These 3 disks are virtual disks. On Node 2, I am going to add it. Perfect. So I have created the virtual disk and assigned to the 2 machines. Now we can start both the machines. Okay, start both the machines. 2020 10 GB. Archive data OCR. Archive data OCR. That is fine. Let it be. Or else if you want to add it in order, we can make the order also. Archive data OCR. Let me add it. Archive. Where archive is there, no? Archive data and OCR. Data and then OCR2. Archive data OCR. Perfect. Order archive data OCR. Archive data OCR. Okay. Now we need to start the machines. Both the machines you can start. RACS node 1 and RACS node 2. Both we can start it. Host name change is completed. Service system restart, that is not required now. System restart network, that is also not required. System detail start, this one. You can do that as well. That is fine, not required. Node 2 preparation completed. Resolve.config, we need to update the name.1. Cop resolve original, that is okay. Let it start the node machines and then we can do unzip the softwares. We can start from here. Okay, we can start. We are going to unzip the grid software. Software unzip on both the grid and Oracle home paths. Grid 1, we need to unzip it on grid home path. And Oracle 1, we want to unzip in Oracle database path. Both the softwares, we can unzip it. Okay. Even one software we can unzip it, but let it do at a time, both the softwares. This one is done. Let me connect to node 2 here only. 192.168.56.102 is my public IP. The root user. First time I'm connecting to node 2. That's where it is asking reconfirmation. Let it connect. Enter the password. Yes. Perfect. RACS 2 I have connected. RACS 1 I have connected. RACS 2 I can make it a different color. I'll make it red color. Okay, I'll do that. Yes, this is my node 1 and this is my node 2. These two are old machines. Don't do anything, like don't think about it. Okay, perfect. Now what I need to do? We are going to unzip the softwares. Okay. Go to this location directly. No such file. Okay, understood. This media, we are not going to mean what the thing is happened, right? We did not create the shared disk. Why? Because the softwares which are there in my local machine. If I want to access my local machine software to this server inside, we need to make sure create on shared drive. That is missed. Let me stop the machines. Again, we need to connect it back. Init 0. Stop the machines, both the machines. Create a shared disk. Okay, shared drive, I'm going to create it. Shared folder. Shared folder is useful to get your softwares from your local machine. Softwares is there in my D drive, DB software, VM, 12C. If you are giving VM, that is fine. Under all these folders, we can able to access it and mount it, auto mount it. Done. I have created a shared folder. Node 2 also, you can create a shared folder. To access your software patches from your local machine. Otherwise, no, we need to copy all the patches to VM. There we need extra another 550 GB or 100 GB. Without that extra storage usage, we are going to create a shared folder that we can mount it on our both the nodes. Okay, then I have created. Let me start the machine. Start both the machines. After I started the machine, I can able to access the shared folder. So we can conclude this one, machine 1 and machine 2, all the prerequisites is completed. Now in next video, we are going to do it. Database cluster, like cluster softwares installation process. We can see that. Okay, thank you.